Earth 4D is focused on life, energy, and water through the Earth, through time, and into other planets. And so we're asking really big questions. And I personally focus on deeper subsurface life, which includes aspects of energy, water, through the crust, around the world, and then also on other planets. And so when we're talking about impact of these things, there's everything from life on other planets, which, as you can imagine, is a fairly large, impactful thing that we are certainly looking for, but also huge aspects of water resources, of essentially the crowding of subsurface real estate on Earth, because so many of the future directions that we're moving to try to mitigate things like climate change and try to grow more crops and have more people have water are all either taking things out of the subsurface or putting things in. And so that's getting to be an increasingly crowded space that I think we have a lot of potential to work on.
So many of society's urgent questions right now are about our relationship with the planet. How do we gain what we need to survive from the planet? How do other life forms gain that? And then how do we sustain our planet in a way that ensures that life goes forward? We address all of these questions within Earth 4D.
At least two major challenges that we're facing now, and even more so in the future, are our environment and sustainability on the one hand, and that includes soil and water and food resources, land resources, especially in what they call the global south or developing countries. And the other one, I think, honestly, is a more intellectual one to my mind, which is keeping people interested and educated about how science, basic science, is really important for answering these problems. That communication factor, I think, is very important as well. And there's a lot of opportunity for misinformation now. And with AI, this gets even more challenging. Making sure that good science is done and communicated accurately to the public, I think, is another important challenge.
Just to give you one example of some of the things that we're addressing, right now there's a huge interest in, with the green energy transition, understanding how we will deal with the question of natural hydrogen resources and where that fits into the changing energy demands of our planet. So a number of people in our group are addressing this, particularly because Canada has a unique set of expertise and influence and perspective around the problem of natural hydrogen.
CFAR is such a great program because it brings together different types of people that wouldn't naturally overlap in the same space. And even if we were, say, at the same meeting, like one of our big national conferences, we certainly wouldn't be in the same sessions, and we very likely wouldn't even have met or had lunch, or there wouldn't be a space to interact and share ideas. Whereas I think what's really profound and what I love about coming to CFAR meetings is when we are sitting together and we're having these conversations, you get ideas that are fundamentally new, because you have someone like a nuclear physicist watching a talk on microbiology going, hey, I have an idea. This might sound crazy, but crazy is allowed at these meetings. The bringing people together, people from totally divergent backgrounds, but even some that have enough overlap that we can talk to each other on these topics. I think CFAR's role in bringing people together is really fundamental to our, not just answering sort of the current questions, but coming up with those big new ideas and coming up with the next frontier of the questions we'll work on.
CFAR has an amazing contribution to the idea of diversity of opinions, diversity of different countries, and diversity of disciplines. And with the kinds of challenges that are on our desktops right now, every person on the planet needs all hands on deck in terms of finding solutions. That commitment of CFAR to internationalism, interdisciplinary, and a diversity of ideas is exactly the recipe that we need in order to make progress on the vast challenges that are facing us on this planet right now.
We need CFAR to address these questions because of the great flexibility that the CFAR program allows in building programs to integrate different disciplines with people from very different walks of life and to bring them into the same room to talk about problems that matter to all of us, but we're coming from such different perspectives.
Inclusive groups are important because each group, whether it's an individual or an individual in a group, brings a different set of experiences and perspectives. And in order to solve these sorts of really big global problems, we do need participation from all over the globe. Unfortunately, much of the impact has been created by the developed world, and it's the developing countries that are dealing with most of that impact. It's really critical to bring in those people into the picture as well.
It is really important to build a global, diverse program because the problems that we're facing as a society are global. The range of experiences people have is just too diverse to not include that. And if you don't have all the voices in the room, you will not hear all the different ways to approach the problems. Approaching it from different angles with different perspectives is absolutely essential.